Hi, everybody. Welcome to Life Wisdom with Ed Langan, the place to come for practical and spiritual information to help you as you move forward along your path, and life wisdom from the guides. Life wisdom stands for love, inspiration, faith, and empowerment. On this spiritual talk show, we talk about everything from self-love and creating your own reality to quantum physics and what your soul wants you to know. I'm your host, Ed Langan. I am a channel for ascended masters, a psychic channel, a life coach, a law of attraction expert, and a spiritual teacher. Other than that, I'm just a regular dude, whatever that might be. I'm happy you're here. I'm glad you're joining in. Pauline is here. Hi, Pauline. How are you? Glad you're here. Polly Joe, glad you're here. Thank you for being here. In this episode, we're going to talk about keeping your heart open or living heart-centered. The first part of the show that's what we're going to talk about. In this crazy world that we live in, how do you keep your heart open? That's what we're going to talk about. And we're going to talk about being heart-centered, staying connected with source and your soul, and living from love, not from fear. I'll show you some things that you can do that'll help you do that. And some of them are actually quite easy, so that'll be good. Then we're going to do an EFT tapping about living heart-centered. And the second part of the show, I will channel the guides and answer questions for people about law of attraction or any aspect of their life. Pauline is saying she's looking forward to this. Well, thank you, Pauline. So am I. It's going to be fun. It's going to be good. You can also post questions during the live chat. Now, having said that, we are using the brand new Studio 2, and Marge, as always, is doing an amazing job, but some of the scrolling features and some of the comments and things like that aren't exactly working the best. So Marge is going to do the best she can, as she always does, and I always appreciate her and her flying the plane so that I can just concentrate on talking and teaching you guys. So we'll do the best we can, but we ask you to bear with us. Excellent. Thank you for everybody who's liking and sharing our shows. We really appreciate that. Marge and I really appreciate that. The guides really appreciate that. What you're doing is you're sending this information out so that people who are searching for it can find it. Neshi is here. Hi, Neshi. How are you? Thank you for joining us. Neshi just had her show just before mine. So as you're liking and sharing the shows and sending them out, you're making it easy for other people who are looking for this information, who are searching for this information, to find it. And we really appreciate that. And on behalf of all of us at Star Nations, we thank you for that. There's lots of wonderful shows, lots of wonderful resources from Star Nations, and your liking and sharing it makes it easier and easier for all of us to find that. So thank you. We really, really appreciate that. All of us at Star Nations, thank you very much. Just gonna switch my notes here. Good. If there are any subjects that you would like us to do a show about, feel free to message me and we'll do what we can to get that show out there for you. As I said in the beginning, we're really willing to talk about any sort of spiritual ideas, concepts, and I'm a life coach, so practical things too. So if you have any ideas, let us know. We're happy to do that. So a couple other people have joined in. Rob is here. Hey, Rob, how are you? Thank you. Marie is here. Marie, thank you. Glad you're here. So far, everything is going to show up in the comments, but eventually it's not going to scroll anymore, so I'm not going to be able to see the comments that you have. And as I said, Marge is flying the plane, and she's doing a wonderful job, as she always does. So if you guys want to type a little hi, Marge, that would be good too. Excellent. I want to share with you, as we talk about in the beginning of all of our shows, that we do a monthly meditation and prayer, and it lasts for 10 minutes. And what we do is for 10 minutes, we either meditate or pray about peace, love, harmony, and healing. And we ask everybody to join in with us. There's no agenda. It's as simple as that. The next one is going to be Monday, August 26th at 7 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, and it lasts for 10 minutes. So if you can join us and join the energy and send out that positive wave of energy with us, we would really appreciate that. And Polly Joe is sending love to Marge. Thank you, Polly Joe. Appreciate that. I'm sure Marge does too. Good. All right. If you're just joining in, I am Ed Langan, and you're watching Life Wisdom with Ed Langan. And today we're going to talk about living heart-centered. I have a question for you. Do you know what the name Ruth means? Now, Ruth is an ancient name, and it's Hebrew, and it means compassionate friend. And when we think of compassion, we think of the heart, coming from the heart. So Ruth was known for having a very loving, compassionate heart. Now I'm going to tell you a word that you hear not as much as you used to, but it still comes up, and that is ruthless. And when someone is ruthless, we refer to them as being heartless. Interesting. So this is all about being like Ruth and having your heart open. So there's some trivia for you to start off with. The heart chakra is the fourth chakra, and the color of it is green. And Polly Joe does a wonderful show about chakras. If you're interested, you can check that out. If you're into crystals, some of the crystals that are really, really good for the heart chakra are rose quartz. Like, whoops, there we go, like this one right here. For all you fishermen out there, the trick is the closer you hold it to the camera, the bigger the fish looks. So there's a useless tip for you. Malachite is another one that's really good for your heart. This is one of my favorites. This is a Merkaba made out of rose quartz, and that is a star tetrahedron or a Merkaba. And the last one I want to show you is green adventurine. All of those are crystals that help open your heart. So if you're into crystals, those are things that will help you. And Pauline Brown is writing, loves her crystals. Well, thank you. Thank you. Good. Excellent. And Pauline also wrote, wow, interesting. So I'm guessing that's for the comment about Ruth. Good. So what does a closed heart look like? Well, unfortunately, if you continue to live with a closed heart and have a closed heart, one of the ways you can tell is people who have heart disease have a closed heart. People who have lung cancer can have a closed heart. Breast cancer in women, those are all signs of a closed heart. So it is important to let your heart chakra be open and to allow that energy to flow. Good. How did our heart get closed in the first place? That's a great question. I'm glad you asked. Do you remember when you were young and you had your first crush on whoever it was, and they found out about the crush and didn't feel the same way you did? Maybe they didn't reciprocate. Maybe they were mean in return. And you went, oh, I'll never do that again. And you started to close your heart. And that is the beginning of how we close our heart. That's happened to a lot of people. I remember that clearly when that happened to me. What does heart-centered mean? What does living heart-centered mean? It means that you're experiencing life from your spirit, as your soul, not as your ego. Now, your ego is up here, and that's living in the land of thoughts and of noise and of overthinking and all of that. And that is not living heart-centered. Living heart-centered is having your energy lower down into your heart, where you're living as your soul. You're living as your spirit. You're remembering that you're love. That's what we all are. We really are the energy of love, and choosing to live, I have to go up here so you can see me, from your heart-centered, living from your heart. That's what living heart-centered means. Now, the interesting thing about this is we have all been taught to live from our ego. Now, it's natural for us to live in our heart. When we were little, when we were children, we lived in our hearts. We were in our hearts for most of our early life, probably till we were, depending on how you were brought up, till you were 4, 5, 6 years old. You lived in your heart, and you also lived in the moment. So you weren't living in ego yet. You were still living in your heart. That's why you were feeling as much as you were, because you were living in your heart. And gradually you learn to move that up and to live from your mind, from your ego. The thing about that is it blocks your energy flow. It starts to close your heart, and it prevents you from living fully. It prevents you from being your full self. It prevents you from being the lover that you are. And it teaches you separation. What do we mean by separation? Well, separation means a couple of different things. The first thing it means is you love conditionally. Now, what does conditional love mean? Conditional love means when you behave the way that I think is appropriate, I love you. And when you don't, I don't love you. Now, here's an example from my life years ago. I was working at a store, and I heard my friend talking to his adult daughter. And he said to her over the phone, "If you love me at all, you'll clean your room." I was horrified when I heard that. I wanted to take off my shoe and hit him in the back of the head. But then who was also not living from their heart and living in ego? It was his experience. It was his way of unfortunately manipulating the situation, because usually when you're not coming from love, or you're coming from conditional love, it's a way of manipulating people. It's a way of controlling them. And it was not my place to judge that, although I do really, really remember it. And as I said, it took everything I could not to hit him in the back of the head with my shoe, but that was a judgment. We are all on our path. We're all still learning. We're all still growing. I'm not perfect. Some days I'm great at this, and other days I'm not. And that's okay. Excellent. The separation is the belief that we are separate from everybody else. We forget that we're energy. We forget that we're consciousness. And we look at a body and say, this is a clump. And this clump is Ed, and Ed is separate from everybody else. And this clump over here is somebody else, and that clump over there is somebody else, and we're all separate, which we're not. Because this isn't real. This isn't who I am. This is what I'm visiting here in, but this isn't who I am. I am the spirit, the soul, the consciousness of Ed. And when I'm not in this body, there are no boundaries. Energy is all connected. We are all one. We are all the ocean and a drop in the ocean at the same time. Or if you prefer, we are all the galaxy and the individual stars in the galaxy at the same time. We're all one. So the belief in separation is the belief that we're separate from each other, and then we go and transfer that onto God, or source energy, or source, or the great spirit, or whatever works for you, whatever you want to call it. We believe the same thing, that we believe that we're separate from God, that we're down here, we're these lowly little humans, and we're down here, and he's up there, or he, she, it, whatever it happens to be, is up there looking down, separate from us and judging us. And that keeps us in our ego, and it keeps us out of our heart. So that doesn't work either. Now, here's a couple interesting things, at least I think they're interesting. The Christ said, the kingdom of God is within. The Buddha said, God is hidden in the hearts of all men. I believe that. I believe that God is inside of all of us, or Great Spirit, Creator, Source Energy, whatever works for you, is inside of all of us. So if that's inside all of us, there is no separation. That's about being in your heart, about coming from love, about flowing from love, about remembering who you are. And then the next part after the separation is we then put the conditional love that we use on everybody else on God, on Creator, on Source Energy, on the Great Spirit. And then we decide that when we behave a certain way, God loves us. And when we behave some other way, God doesn't love us. And so, that's not good. So we practice the same conditional love that we practice with everybody else, and we put that on the Creator, which I should be pointing here, which is where the Creator is. And that causes all kinds of turmoil. You look at our crazy world out there, and you're seeing that being played out. It's about conditional love and about the separation. So our work as we raise our vibration is to understand that and to be heart-centered, to live from our hearts, to allow that energy to flow. Simple, but not always easy. Good. Excellent. All right. This is going to seem off the subject, but it's not. And some of you may have heard that before, but this always bears repeating because this is important information. How many emotions are there? 2. There's all these over here, and there's all these flavors and all these degrees, and they all feel good. And there's all these over here. I can keep my hands on the screen, and there's all these flavors and all these degrees, and they all feel bad. Love and fear. Those are the only 2 emotions. Now, why is this important? 2. Pauline Brown knew there was 2. Very good, Pauline. Excellent. Yes, there are 2. This is important because the love side is connected. This is when you're in alignment. This is when you're more heart-centered. This is when you're allowing your energy to flow. And when you're on the fear side, you're not connected. You're not allowing your energy to flow. And you're up here in your ego, usually. We are the energy of love. That's what we really are. One of my mentors, Abraham Hicks, who is channeled through Esther Hicks, says all the time, we are liquid love. That's what we are. And to experience that and to live that, we need to be in our hearts. And we don't like that the guides they don't like the word need. Sorry. We choose to be in our hearts. That's better. That's a much better word. We choose to be in our hearts. And at times that's challenging. Perfect. We want to talk a little bit about polarized energy. What is polarized energy? Polarized energy is 2 sides fighting against each other. It's taking sides, it's joining the fight. So the most obvious example, and again, do not beat me up for this, but the most obvious example is Republicans and Democrats in our government. And this is not a political statement, it's just an illustration. And it's less about finding a solution and more about being right. I'm right, so they're wrong, and they're wrong, so I'm right. And it's fighting back and forth. And what it's doing is it's all from the ego. It's all keeping you in lower vibration and lower density, and it's keeping you out of your heart. You want to be in your heart. You want to be heart-centered. This is 3rd dimensional energy. This is what we're learning right now. This is what we're understanding, that polarized energy is a trap. Because what happens is when you get caught in polarized energy, nobody wins, but you're not in your heart. You're not in your fourth chakra. You haven't moved your energy up. You're disconnected. You're in your ego, and everybody loses. Now, we're not saying don't make a choice, because that doesn't work either. But what we are saying is once you make your choice, don't make the other ones wrong. Don't fight against them. Don't push against them. Allow them to be, even if they disagree with you. And don't give your power or your energy away, and bring your choice up into your heart, into a higher dimension. Otherwise, you're getting stuck in the third dimension. You're not in your heart. You're getting stuck in ego, and you're not connected. You're not flowing. You're not powerful. You've forgotten who you are, and you're small and weak. Something to think about. Personally, I am clairsentient. When I use my abilities, I read from my heart and I feel it. So that's how it works for me. And so it's important for me to stay in my heart and to stay heart-centered. And at times that's a challenge for me too. Good. We are all a work in progress. And we are all in process. So sometimes we're great at this and sometimes we're not. And that's okay. You may have heard me say this before, and this is one of my favorite quotes. We are all here walking each other home. That's what we're doing. We're all helping each other. We're all teaching each other. We're all learning from each other. We're all growing together. And as any of us get into our heart center, it makes it easier for all of us to do that because it pulls the vibration up. Excellent. We're going to do an EFT tapping. And then after that, I'm going to tell you some things to do about how to live more heart-centered, some easy things to do. And then after that, we're going to have the guides answer some questions. I do have a question already from Polly Joe, which the guides are very excited to answer. So we're looking forward to that. And hopefully you can put your question into the comments and Marge can get it to me if you have a question. But we're going to get to that in a couple minutes. All right. So we're going to start with the tapping. And I'm going to put that up there like that. Actually, no, I'm going to put this one first. Okay. Sorry about that, guys, if that's really distracting. All right. And hopefully I've moved myself back a little bit so I'm not a giant head in the middle of the computer screen. So hopefully I can read this when I take my glasses off. No, I can't. All right. So we're going to talk about the EFT tapping, and I'm going to do it with my glasses on. And the EFT tapping is the emotional freedom technique. And what it does is it helps move energy through your body. It helps move energy through your system, especially older energy that's kind of stuck and stagnant. So the way it works is we do a negative round first to rile the energy up, to get it moving, to get it alive again. And then we do 2 positive rounds to move it out. Now, the tapping points, I'm going to go over them quick, and I'll obviously go over them as we do it. The first one is right here on this part of your hand, right there, and this is called a karate chop. And we tap, there we go. We tap gently here, and we say the 3 main statements first while we do that. Then the next part is the eyebrow, and that's right at the beginning of your eyebrow. And remember, whenever we're tapping around our eyes, we're always really gentle. The harder you tap doesn't make a difference. So really gentle around your eyes. So the eyebrow is first. The side of your eye, right on the orbit bone, is next. The next one is right underneath your eye, right in the center of your eye, of your iris, right under there. The next one is the middle of your lip, under your nose. The fold of your chin. It's very weird when I look at myself at the camera. I should just look at you guys. The next one is the collarbone. It's down an inch and out an inch. I have a big old hand. I just go like this. The next one is the wrist, and this is the hand bone and the wrist bone join right here. It's about 3 fingers down, and so I just tap the side of my wrist just like that to make sure I get the whole thing. And then the last one is the top of your head, and it's right in the center of your head. And I will do my best to go slow. And what's going to happen is I'm going to say the statement, and then I will say it again with you, and you'll repeat it back to me, and we'll tap through the whole thing. The first 3 statements on the karate chop are, there we go. I'll do it this way so you can see that right here on this part of your hand, are fairly long, so I'm going to say them in 2 parts. So first I will read it, and then the second time I'll say it slower, and we'll all say it together, okay? Here we go. Even though I have closed my heart, I deeply and completely love and accept myself altogether. Even though I have closed my heart, I deeply and completely love and accept myself. Good. Even though I have stayed in fear energy, I deeply and completely love and accept myself altogether. Even though I have stayed in fear energy, I deeply and completely love and accept myself. Even though I have loved conditionally, I deeply and completely love and accept myself, all of us together. Even though I have loved conditionally, I deeply and completely love and accept myself. Excellent. Now the tapping points. Start with the eyebrow, beginning of the eyebrow. I have held grudges altogether. I have held grudges. Side of the eye, again, very gentle. I have closed my heart. I have closed my heart under the eye. At times, I have loved conditionally. At times, I love conditionally under the nose. Sometimes anger gets the better of me altogether. Sometimes anger gets the better of me, chin point. I have said mean things to others and to myself. I have said mean things to others and to myself, beginning of the collarbone. At times, I've been afraid and withheld love altogether. At times, I've been afraid and withheld love. Wrist. And we'll do it this way. I have ignored my feelings. I have ignored my feelings. Top of the head. I have been mean to myself and others altogether. I have been mean to myself and others. Excellent. Take a deep breath. Good. Now we're going to do 2 positive rounds. And the tapping script is right up there on your page for you to follow along with me, and we'll do it together. So we're going to start with the karate chop, and these are the positive rounds. So the first one is, I am willing and ready to live with an open heart, and I deeply and completely love and accept myself. I am willing and ready to live with an open heart, and I deeply and completely love and accept myself. I am willing and ready to live with an open heart, and I deeply and completely love and accept myself altogether. I am willing and ready to live with an open heart, and I deeply and completely love and accept myself. One more time. I am willing and ready to live with an open heart, and I deeply and completely love and accept myself altogether. I am willing and ready to live with an open heart, and I deeply and completely love and accept myself. Good. Eyebrow. I want to open my heart altogether. I want to open my heart, side of the eye. I want to feel joy altogether. I want to feel joy under the eye. I want to love unconditionally. I want to love unconditionally under the nose. I choose to reopen my heart. I choose to reopen my heart, chin. I choose to love and trust. I choose to love and trust, collarbone. I now choose to relax and allow my energy to flow all together. I now choose to relax and allow my energy to flow. Wrist. I can see that flowing love helps me. I can see that flowing love helps me. Top of the head. I feel better when my heart is open. All together. I feel better when my heart is open. Deep breath. Excellent. Very good. One more positive round. Here we go. Karate chop. I am now releasing my beliefs about conditional love and opening my heart, and I deeply and completely love and accept myself. All together. I am now releasing my beliefs about conditional love and opening my heart, and I deeply and completely love and accept myself. I am now releasing my beliefs about conditional love and opening my heart, and I deeply and completely love and accept myself. All together. I am now releasing my beliefs about conditional love and opening my heart, and I deeply and completely love and accept myself. One more time. I am now releasing my beliefs about conditional love and opening my heart, and I deeply and completely love and accept myself. All together. I am now releasing my beliefs about conditional love and opening my heart, and I deeply and completely love and accept myself. Excellent. Eyebrow. I understand that what I send out comes back to me. All together. I understand that what I send out comes back to me. Side of the eye. I am now choosing to send out love. All together. I am now choosing to send out love. Under the eye. We are all the energy of love. We are all the energy of love. Under the nose. I am letting my love energy flow. I am letting my love energy flow. Chin point. I am releasing fear altogether. I am releasing fear. Collarbone. I am letting me be in my heart center. I am letting me be in my heart center. Wrist. There we go. Where are we? I've decided to be in my open heart. I've decided to be in my open heart. Top of the head. I've decided to flow love. I've decided to flow love. Excellent. Deep breath. And just relax for a second and take that in. That's helping us all be more heart-centered and helping us all be more in our hearts. Obviously, it's up there during the show. I will put those into the posts at the end so you guys can find them if you want to print it, so that you can do that again anytime that you like, so that that's convenient for you. So I will take care of that for you. Excellent. I don't know if you have any comments about that or how it felt to you, and hopefully Marge will be able to put them up. I'm not sure. So if you want to send in comments, that's great. And if Marge can put them up, that would be great too. So excellent. Good. All right. I need some water. Excuse me for 1 second here. Excellent. Good. If you are just joining us a little bit late, this is Life Wisdom with Ed Langan. I'm Ed Langan, and today we're talking about living heart-centered. And right now, we're going to talk about what to do to help you live more in your heart. And I do see a comment from Polly Joe, and it says, lots of group healing going on. Thank you, Ed, Marge, and team. Well, thank you, Polly Joe. We appreciate that. Thank you. Excellent. Good. So the first part of living more heart-centered, and the first thing that you can do is probably the hardest, and that is forgiveness. Yep, forgiveness. Who do you have to forgive? Well, the first person you have to forgive is yourself. Forgiveness is not about the other people. Forgiveness is about you. When you forgive, you open up your heart center and you allow that energy to flow. Now, don't misunderstand us. We're not saying that the person that you forgive, now you're going to be pals and you're going to go have lunch or anything like that, or that you approve of what they did. But what we are talking about is you letting it go and not closing your heart and not giving your power away anymore. Not forgiving doesn't hurt them. It hurts you. Remember in the beginning we said some of the things that you see for having a closed heart is heart disease, breast cancer, lung cancer. That comes from holding grudges. You want to release that. You don't want to hold that energy. So that's the first thing. There is a wonderful book by Don Miguel Ruiz. I'm sure some of you are familiar with it. It's called The 4 Agreements. And agreement number 2, as far as the guides are concerned, is by far the most important and can be the one that's the most challenging. Agreement number 2 is do not take anything personally. That's tricky. We've been taught to take everything personally. When we were kids, I remember being scolded for hurting my brother Johnny's feelings. You hurt Johnny's feelings. And I'm like, ooh, I'm powerful. I just hurt his feelings. Ooh, I don't know if I like this. Because that means if I can hurt his feelings, he can hurt mine. I don't think I like this. I don't think that's so good. And the thing is, I can't hurt his feelings without his permission, and he can't hurt my feelings without my permission. One of my favorite quotes by Eleanor Roosevelt is, no one can make you feel inferior without your consent. Now, let's take that a little bit further. No one can hurt your feelings without your consent. No one can do anything to you without your consent. And if you continue to not forgive them, you're still holding that energy. There's a wonderful story about 2 monks. And they're walking along, and there's a very muddy path that they're walking across and near. And there's a woman a young woman in a beautiful silk dress. And she can't get across the muddy path without ruining her dress. And she's very concerned about that. Now, these monks are very strict, and they're not allowed to touch women. And the elder of the monks, there's an older monk and a younger monk, walks over to the woman, has her climb on his back, and he carries her across the muddy part and puts her down, and the two of them go along their way. And the younger monk is very quiet. He doesn't say anything for most of the afternoon, and he grumbles a little bit. And they continue to walk, and they continue to walk. And in the evening, they reach their destination, and they're sitting down having their humble meal. And the younger monk says to the older one, "How could you do that?" And the older monk says, "Do what?" And he said, "You picked up that woman and you carried her across. You know we're not supposed to do that. How can you do that? Why did you do that?" And the older monk looked at the younger monk and said, "Why are you still carrying her? I put her down hours ago." Don't hold on to it. Don't hold on to grudges. Let it go. Give everyone the benefit of the doubt. I believe that everybody should have to work at least 1 year in a retail store behind the counter. That's a real spiritual thought, isn't it? Why? Because people come in very, very upset about their toaster not working, or about this not, or that, or whatever. And you clearly understand that it's not about you, it's about them. And when you understand that and don't take that on and don't take things personally, you're in a much better position to help them. But it takes some practice because we have been taught to take things personally. Send them light and love if you want to or not. That's entirely up to you. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. I'll be perfectly honest. It depends on my mood. But you can do that. Excellent. Here's a couple other things that you can do to be heart-centered. Meditate. Meditation takes you out of here and puts you down into your heart. It helps you quiet your mind and puts you back into your spirit and puts you back into connection. Meditation is a great tool. Every single spiritual teacher on our planet right now are telling people to meditate. That's not a coincidence. Meditation is a really powerful tool. Now, if you don't know what to do or where to go for meditation, you can go to my website. There's 2 free meditation downloads that you can download. They're absolutely free. If you'd rather not do that, that's cool. You can watch the shows on Star Nations. Polly Joe does 2 shows a week, and one on Tuesday afternoon and one on Wednesday night. I believe that's correct. And the one on Wednesday night, there's always a meditation. Maureen Mann has a wonderful show called Angel Therapy. It is the 4th Thursday of every month, same time slot as mine. I'm the 2nd Thursday. She's the 4th Thursday at 4 o'clock Eastern time. She usually does a meditation in her show also. I know that some of the other show hosts have done meditations too. There's a show called The Mystery School with Carl and Orthran. I hope I said her name right. I know they're recently doing a series about meditation. So there's plenty of opportunities for you to find information about meditation. And I'm sure either Neshi or Stephanie will put that information into the comments here so that you guys, if you want to find those shows, you can find that. And there's a different meditation. I know Polly Joe does a different meditation every week, and it's a healing meditation. So that's something that would help. Okay? This is real easy. To put yourself in your heart, do anything that makes you smile or laugh. That's simple. That's not hard. There was a recent post on Facebook, and I talked about it in my Facebook Live this morning, that says a 6-year-old laughs an average of 300 times a day. An adult laughs an average of 15 to 100 times a day. And I know plenty of adults who don't laugh at all. Laughter puts you back in your heart. One of the jokes I said this morning to make everybody laugh, and this was Valerie's favorite, is why don't blind people like to go skydiving? Because it scares the crap out of their dogs. I know it's terrible. I'm sorry, but it's funny. Puts you in your heart. Another thing that you can do is sing. Sing music. Music puts you back in your heart. Sing. We don't sing because we're happy. We sing to make us happy. Singing, dancing, music, that will put you back in your heart. That will make you happy. So there's a few things that you can do to make yourself happy, to put you back, to connect you in your heart center, which are easy, right? Go on YouTube and look at videos of puppies or kittens or anything like that. Anything that makes you smile, anything that makes you happy automatically puts you back into your heart. The thing is to get out of your mind and remember to do it. It's simple, but it's not easy. And we've been taught not to do that. The other thing is being too hard on yourself also takes you out of your heart. People ask the guides all the time about world peace and how can there be peace in our world and what can we do for peace? And the answer usually surprises them because the guides say that it starts with you. And if you're looking in the mirror and saying, oh, my hair looks stupid, or I'm fat, or I'm this, or I'm that, that's a form of violence against yourself. So it starts with you. Being heart-centered starts with you, starts with being kinder to yourself, which isn't something that we've been taught. We used to do that naturally when we were kids, but that's been taught out of us. So it's about being kinder to yourself. You tell the world how to treat you by the way you treat yourself. Excellent. Good. I hope you enjoyed that. I hope you find that helpful. We are going to turn things over with the guides. Just a couple of things before we start. The guides can be very direct and sometimes blunt. It always comes from a place of love. The more focused and more powerful the question, the more focused and powerful the answer from the guides. Sometimes my voice changes. You always have free will. They're not going to take away your free will. The guides will give you what you need, not necessarily what you want. And also, you can feel free to send me questions ahead of time when you know my show is coming up, as Polly Jo did today, and we'll be happy to answer them in this part. So if you'll give me a second, I just want to tell you a little bit about Polly Jo, and then I'll bring in the guides. Polly Jo is the founder of the Trinity School of Mystical Energy Healing in Western Mass. So if you live anywhere in the New England area, if you have any opportunity to see Polly Jo or to get a healing session from her or to go to her school or do any of that, she also has the Trinity Healing Sanctuary. We highly recommend you do it. Check out her shows on Star Nations. And the other thing is she also does go to Star Nations in Wisconsin, and she teaches workshops there too. So if you have a chance to work with her, take advantage of it. Okay? Her question is, do we have any insight on continuing the development of her school, her teachings, and her practice, taking it to the next level? And yes, we do. We have quite a bit of insight. So hold on one second. And let me bring in the guides here, and we're going to talk about that. So the guides have been excited to answer this question for you, Polly Jo. And they're going to tell you a story about Norman Vincent Peale. And I don't know if you know who Norman Vincent Peale is. Norman Vincent Peale is a spiritual teacher from a while back. He's an old school spiritual teacher. He started Guideposts, which is a magazine, and he wrote quite a few best-selling spiritual self-help books through the years. Now, Guidepost is a magazine, and when he was starting his magazine Guideposts, he gathered his staff together, his people, and he said, this is what I want you to do. I want us all to sit here, and in our mind, I want you to see all of us together, 100,000 people, and see these 100,000 people and see them as real and as you possibly can, and understand that these are our clients. And in his case, he was talking about the magazine and how much they love the magazine and they enjoy it and they're telling their friends and they love the stories, etc. So what we would like you to do, Polly Jo, is get together with Maureen and Karen and Fran and Abigail and everybody else in your group there that you work with, and all of you together see 100,000 people. See your people. See your clients. Make it as real for you as possible, as you can. See them, feel their energy, see them smiling at you, see them excited and happy about your work, about your teachings, about your school, about them telling their friends, about spreading the energy, and see that in your mind all together as much as you can. The 5, 6 of you together are really, really powerful. And when you all align your energy together, you're going to create a powerful magnet that will help pull that in. I'm sure Neshi will join in and help you with that too, as will the rest of us at Star Nations, to pull that in, to allow those people to find you so that your energy becomes a great big beacon of light, calling the people who are looking for this in. And that will certainly help with that. Having said that, the other thing that we see, which we're very excited about for you, is we see a video. We see about a 5-minute, 4-minute, 5-minute video where we see you teaching and doing some of your classes. We see interviews with some of your students who talk about their transformation and the things they learned. We see other happy, wonderful, fun things. We see the beautiful sanctuary. We see the crystal bowls. We see this just beautiful, really, really well-made, loving, from the heart video. Now, this is not trying to sell them to come to do your work. This is about you putting your heart out there, putting the love out there, creating from your heart chakra, creating the love. And because we know you, we know how loving you are, we know how much love and care and when you're doing this work that you're putting out for these folks. And that's what we feel from this video that will find its way to hundreds and thousands of people who will come to your place. So those are the two biggest things that we see for you immediately. Again, remember to be from your heart. Remember to be coming from your heart. And you're very good at this. We very rarely see you trying to sell somebody something on that. And just, it's the love that attracts. See it as already done. See the people already there. See your 100,000 people. And then the interesting story about Norman Vincent Peale is once they had 100,000 subscribers, he got the group together again and said, okay, now we want to see 1 million. And they, I don't know if they still do, but they at one point in their height of their popularity, they had over 1 million subscribers. So you can do that as many times as you want. Neshi, you might want to do that about Star Nations also. And remember, it's coming from love. We're not trying to sell anybody anything. We're connecting with love and sending that energy out there. Excellent. Thank you very much. Good. All right. Pauline Brown, I would like to ask the guides for guidance about me this time. I feel lost. All right, Pauline, that's good. It's not good that you're feeling lost. That's not what we meant. And I need some water. So remember, when you laugh, you're in your heart chakra. So laugh at me for saying that. Excellent. When you're feeling lost, what's happening is your energy is not in alignment with anything, and you're sort of spreading yourself out in too many places. Your energy is thin and distracted. Now, that's not a problem, and it's not something that we want you to fret over or worry about. It's not anything to be concerned. It's when we teach people about law of attraction, about attracting, about creating, what we like to tell them first is to get into your heart and then look from there. So do what you can to feel good, to feel joy, to be happy. You know, watch some puppy videos on YouTube or your favorite comedian, or listen to some music, sing, anything that brings you into joy, that makes you happy, that connects you. And then from the place of connection, ask for help. What is the best thing for me to do here? What should I be doing? And should is not the right word. What can I do? Where should I go? What is my energy? How can I flow? And allow that to begin to line up. So it's not that you're lost. You're at a new vantage point. You're at a new starting place. You're at a place where the energy is new and fresh, and you can find your way to do anything. Now, we want you to not be hard on yourself. We want you to not beat yourself up over this. We want you to relax and be gentle, because when you're relaxed and gentle, that's when the energy flows. That's when the answers come. When you're trying too hard and beating yourself up, that's when it doesn't come. There's a lot, this might seem like it's off the subject, but it's not. There's a lot of information out there about procrastination. And everybody, oh, procrastination is bad. Don't procrastinate, da, 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 da. And we have a different take about that. Procrastination isn't bad. Procrastination means the energy is not in alignment, and you feel that the energy is not in alignment. So you have no energy to go and do whatever the task is that you're looking to do. So that's kind of where you are. So raise your energy, get yourself into a higher place, get yourself connected from the higher place, ask, and then wait for the inspiration and let that flow. You're not lost. You're in a new place where you have the opportunity to do all kinds of new things. And that's a really good place to be. And that's an exciting place to be. Excellent. Thank you, Pauline. Wonderful question. Thank you. Rob has a question for me. I've been working on 2 different mystical traditions at this time. Is time to pick one or try to balance the 2? Good. Now, you and the guides have talked about this before, and we're glad that you're asking again because we want to make this clearer for you because we feel we weren't real clear last time. So you cannot unlearn part of what you learned. It's part of your energy. It's part of who you are. It's part of what makes you uniquely who you are. So as you come from these 2 different traditions, you have parts of one and parts of the other, and that's what makes you unique, and that's what makes your perspective unique, and that's what gives you unique insights and unique understanding. And that's what we were trying to say to you last time and have you understand. So you have both of those within you, and it's the combination of the 2 that makes you unique and who you are and gives you a deeper understanding of both from that perspective. Good. Now the question is, which one do you follow? And the answer that we just gave Pauline, the same answer is for you. Raise your vibration. We saw you the other day playing your guitar and singing. Play your guitar, sing, tell jokes, music, whatever puts you up into your heart, raises your vibration into a higher vibration. And when you're in the higher vibration, that's when you ask. You ask and say, which is best for me? What works best for me? Where can I go from there? And allow the inspiration to flow from there. You will know, and it will be very clear to you. One of these 2 will feel better for you, and the one that feels better is the one that we would continue with. Understanding that what you learned from the one that you're sort of letting go, but not really, is still part of you. And there is some truth and some integration in that, which will deepen your wisdom and understanding of both of them. Good. We feel we explained that much better for you this time. So thank you for your question, Rob. I appreciate it. And Marie has no specific question, but an insight to my step into my journey would be wonderful. Excellent. So it's the same thing. It's funny when and Abraham is part of us, and Abraham is part of who speaks through us. But if you've ever listened to Abraham, they always say, we only have one answer. And today, the one answer is this. Marie, raise your vibration, put yourself into your heart center. Be happy. Find a way to bring joy, to be happy, to be in your heart, to be connected, to be happy, to be connected. And then from there, ask. And wait for the inspiration and follow the inspiration. Okay, good. There's another thing. They have 2 specific mantras for everybody, but in this case, they're specifically for Marie, but please, everybody feel free to use them. And the mantras are this: the universe has my back. That's the first one. And we want you to start repeating that, and we want you to start remembering that. The universe has my back. And then the other part of this is, I am always on track. Or I am always right on track. You can't get off your path. You can't make a wrong turn. You're doing it. Remember to do it from your heart center. Remember to do it from a higher vibration where you can hear your guidance clearer and then move forward accordingly. When something feels good to you, when something brings you joy, when you have that eureka moment, when you have that flash of inspiration, that is alignment with your soul. Remember, love and fear, that's being in love, that's alignment with your soul, and that's allowing your energy to flow fully, and that's the direction to go into, to follow. Excellent. Thank you. Wonderful question. Rob has a second one. I'm also considering taking up a new instrument. Is that a good idea? Sure. Why not? Right? Why wouldn't that be a good idea? If the instrument brings you joy and it helps you focus, why not? Music is a wonderful gift for all of us. And the ability to play different instruments is also fun, and it gives you a new perspective. So good. Oh, we really like this. So think about your two spiritual traditions. And one of them is guitar and one of them is piano. And it's the combination of the two of them together that make you strong. So if you play guitar and you decide to take up another instrument, it's the combination of the two of them together that make you a better musician. So absolutely, if you feel inspired to take on another play another musical instrument, then yes, absolutely, absolutely. And from joy and from fun. Good. Okay. I'm all sweaty, so the guides have been pouring through me. Remember, laughing connects you with your heart. Excellent. I'd like to thank everybody for watching. I appreciate it. If you live in Massachusetts, we're in 10 different places now around Massachusetts, and we're starting to move into some of the other New England states. You can go to my website and check out where we are. You can also email me if you have any questions. I do have a coaching special that is going to last through the end of August. And the coaching special is this. A phone session with me is normally over $100, but for the summer months for a half an hour call is $50. So if you're interested in that, you can take advantage of that through my website. If you have any questions, you can email me. The email is up. A lot of people have been taking advantage of that, and hopefully you can too. So excellent. Good. I would like to thank Marge, who did an amazing job. Thank you, Marge. I really appreciate it. Yesterday was our 26th wedding anniversary, so happy anniversary. And thank you. Wow. The guides are here. I'm emotional. I'd also like to thank Neshi and everybody at Star Nations, and I would like to thank all of you for watching and tuning in. I really appreciate that. And Neshi is saying, great show. She loved it. Thank you to you and your guides. And Marge, thank you, Neshi. We appreciate that. We will see you all next month. And with that, I wish you light and love. Take care now.